this by road, and it landed in Gonda town. He told us about a place called Simeon's Mountains, and boy, this place is another thing on its own.
The name of this place is called Buitras. We are very close to the highest lodge in Africa.
Hey guys, just got to the restaurant now. Oh, he's writing VIP. Yeah. So guys, he's writing VIP on this mix. VIP. Yes. Guys, this is raw meat. Raw meat.
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. Now, the Minister of Justice says that the government measure of releasing some prisoners is a step in the right direction for an all-inclusive national dialogue. The measure, says the ministry, also depicts the government's show of gesture in respect of humanity for citizens. Shagai Mato brings you up to speed.
Legal cases involving politicians and their followers have to be resolved not only by a regular justice system, but also by the Transitional Renaissance Package. The remark came here today when Minister of Justice Gideon Timotheos briefed the Ethiopian news agency on yesterday's release of some prisoners. On his brief, Gideon said releasing prisoners who have been indicted for committing various crimes is undertaken by a legislative body, while pardon is given by the pardon board after being signed by the president. As a result, the release of prisoners is neither amnesty nor pardon, he said, but discontinuance of their court cases. The decision to release prisoners is applicable for detainees under two different files, namely Iskandar Nega and Jawar Mohammed. Expounding on why the government decided to free high-profile prisoners, the minister said the two politicians and those being tried in the same files enjoy a large number of followers, adding the inclusion of these groups is vital for a fruitful national dialogue. The minister also went on explaining the release of high-profile former Tigray state officials under the file of Debretsion Gabramikael. The 6 individuals were released due to bad health and old age, he said. The 6 individuals were not the members of the terrorist PLF, Gideon said, adding the prosecution of other defendants in the same file will continue. Underlining the need for transitional justice, Gideon said such measures will help the country ensure better justice and inclusion of all groups. National dialogue is an indispensable tool to discuss and resolve the many challenges of the country, he pointed out. The dialogue, he said, paves the way for real democracy. The minister further noted since conflicts are created by politicians and the society, it needs to come up with a resolution by the National Dialogue Committee so that society avoids the vicious circle of revenges.
Now, a new video of an EU Parliament briefing proves that EU Parliament meeting on December 6 was a TPLF Western setup. The video has details proving that this meeting was a setup of showing TPLF Western coordinated work against the Ethiopian government. Habtama Shagre tells you more.
It is to be recalled that the United Nations Human Rights Council held a special session on Ethiopia at the request of the EU. This so-called special session came weeks after the joint report of the United Nations Human Rights Commission and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, which found no evidence of genocide in Tigray. But since the report displeased the Western powers, who wanted every pretext to arm twisting, the special session was meant to legitimize a second wave of intervention in Ethiopia's internal affairs. African representatives backed by China, Turkey, South Korea and others rejected the proposal, which was approved by a simple majority. This morning, video of an important EU Parliament briefing held on December 6 was released by one of its two hosts, French MEP or Greens, Michel Ravisi, on her personal YouTube channel. This is the invite. The speaking list was a close look. According to the video, 4 of these speakers were added at last minute. Sadly, 3 of the speakers, namely Maza Gabramedhin, Gannet Uni Prof. Jan Nessen and Leiden Uni Professor Mirjam van Wessen were strongly pro-TPLF. The day after the briefing, December 7th, Professor Mirjam posted this tweet, which completely misrepresents the content of the briefing. No conclusions were made. It was a briefing, not a meeting, and contained mostly sober, sensible speakers providing facts. The so-called meeting, which was more or less a briefing, announced its consensus that Tigray war started before November 4, 2020 and that it was planned long before. It also concluded that Eritrea played a key role and has committed atrocious crimes in Tigray with impunity. According to Thompson, not only is Mirjam's assertion there was some kind of consensus found incorrect, but at the end of the briefing, the EU Special Rep for the Horn of Africa said, "What is clear is that there is a real divide and not even any overlap between the positions of briefers." Pekka Haavisto, Foreign Minister of Finland and EU's envoy to Ethiopia, has emerged with a white lie in which the top EU diplomat alleged that Ethiopian leaders told him in February of their intent to wipe out the Tigrans.
For me, particularly the news of the violence against the women is incredible and something that probably not has happened in any wars or conflict in that region. Maybe a word about what is the aim of Ethiopia. When I met the Ethiopian leadership in February, they really used this kind of language that they are going to destroy the Tigrayans, they are going to wipe out the Tigrayans for 100 years and so forth, which for me referred to very serious human rights atrocities and crimes as well. If you wipe out your national minority, what is it? It's you cannot destroy all the people, you cannot destroy all the population in Tigray, and I think that's very obvious that we have to react and because it looks for us like ethnic cleansing. It is a very serious act if this is true.
As part of the TPLF lobbying, 4 speakers were added to the lineup. One of these was founder of Addis Standard, Tadale Lema. Ethiopian diaspora representatives requested that Amhara and Afar voices be represented, but it did not happen. Rather, following confusions on the part of the human rights community, Daniel Bekele, chief commander of Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, pulled out but sent a replacement. Also, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, was listed as a speaker but didn't attend. On coup, the day before the so-called special meeting, the Amnesty International released matching news released purporting to be an investigation report, and the Washington Post report suddenly appeared on the scene. From all this, it is very hard not to conclude that by the end of November, this meeting had become part of a coordinated effort by the EU to call for a very controversial special meeting, which was held on December 17. As can be recorded, this meeting took place while the TPLF was retreating rapidly and fits the consistent pattern of the UN, EU, US sending the TPLF a lifeline in such circumstances. The meeting was also peculiar as it adopted a resolution which undermined a working partnership between the OHCHR and Ethiopia's Human Rights Commission, which could have easily been asked to continue and expand its work, but wasn't.
It's about 9 a.m. this morning. We're here at the most famous church here in Lalibela, St. George's Church, and you can see it down below.
Merry Christmas.
Now moving on, a photo exhibition has been opened in Bahar Dar city depicting the destruction and other heinous crimes committed by TPLF in the state of Amhara. The Deputy Chief of Amhara State has opened the exhibition. He took the occasion to highlight the atrocious crimes TPLF inflicted on civilians in the Amhara region, in addition to the lootings of properties and destruction of infrastructure and industries by the terrorist TPLF. The photo exhibition will remain open for 5 days, it was learned. You're still watching Addis News Hour, and I'll be right back after this weather update.
So the Red Sea is actually on the other side of Djibouti. This is the Gulf of Aden, so across from here would be Yemen, the south coast of Yemen. This is the Djibouti railway station. It's the end of the line from Addis Ababa. Some Arabic writing on the side of the buildings down here. It's the I Love Djibouti sign right outside of the post office. Pretty colorful. They put a lot of work into this. A lot of French brands here. So there's a Leader Price supermarket that I saw when I was in Paris. So this is Place Menelik, and there's tons of old French colonial architecture all around. So it's really beautiful actually over here. That's really beautiful though, eh?
Yeah.
Is that made from is it coral?
Yeah.
Coral building.
Yeah, coral.
Ah, really beautiful.
Yeah.
شليل قرب كينا يوشريا تتاوذ شعل ذا البانقارين
Now, in our continental news, in Kenya's Kisumu city, a resident has taken it upon himself to rid the city of glass waste, one bottle at a time. Maxwell Rihanna has found a way to turn waste glass bottles, most from alcoholic products, into reusable items. Here is his story as produced by CGTN.
Ukipata hizi chupa unapata chupa nyingi zinatupwa sana. Ukienda kama Hippo Point pale utazipata, ukienda Dunga Hill Camp utapata, ukienda Police Mess hapa hivi utapata, ni kila bab utaipata. Kitu ya kwanza napima height yenye nataka. Kama ni ya beer hiyo mrefu kidogo hivi ama kama ni ya whisky nitaipima kwa hiyo machine. Then nitaifunga na nitaikata. Then nikianza kuisugua hivyo, as long as sio msasa isiishe, unatumbukisha ndani ya maji na unaisugua mpaka uje upate hapo hivyo mahali pa kutumia kama kunywa iko smooth, yani iko safi kabisa. Umuhimu ya kwanza, nimesaidia mazingira. Umuhimu mwingine wa pili, inasaidia upande wa kazi kama kwa vijana. Ukiona vile nimekuambia watu wa pikipiki wananiletea na wenye wanasanya pale, pia unapata maybe ni hao vijana wenye wanaishi slum, ni wanaishi street boys. Wanazisanya pale, wanapewa kitu kidogo, then huyo wa pikipiki akisha wapa hiyo kitu atakuja nitamlipa.
Now, US troops are under fire for causing a spike in COVID-19 cases in Japan. 1 in 3 new cases in the country has been traced back to Okinawa, where most troops are stationed. Here is what TRT World produced. And finally, in sports, Cameroon and Burkina Faso have kicked off the 33rd edition of Africa's flagship competition when they locked horns at the totally new Olimbi Stadium in Cameroon capital Yaoundé yesterday evening. Cameroon has beaten Burkina Faso 2-1 in the opening game. Ethiopia also faced Cape Verde at 19 GMT yesterday for the account of Group A match day 1 of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Cameroon 2021. However, it was beaten 1-0 by Cape Verde. Ethiopia have returned to the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations for the 11th time and first since 2013. The Wallets, champions in 1962, hope to start on high notes against Cape Verde. And this is the first encounter between Ethiopia and Cape Verde at the Africa Cup of Nations. Ethiopia were one of 3 teams to participate in the first Africa Cup of Nations tournament in 1957. Now, a quick reminder of the top stories. Ethiopia inaugurates state-of-the-art National Defense Force headquarters. And Cameroon and Burkina Faso kick off AFCON 2021. And with that, we come to the end of today's news. Many thanks for watching us. Bye-bye.